turning 232 today.
You look great. Wow. 232.
Wouldn't that be nice if I looked like this at 232? Anyway, it's not me, obviously. It's the U.S. Coast Guard, and since it was founded on this date in 1790, the Coast Guard has protected the country's coast, but in recent years, they've also started focusing on climate change by helping to identify areas of the shorelines that are vulnerable to threats like sea level rise and erosion.
Yeah, and here to celebrate this monumental occasion, we got Kevin Cooper with us. Before he turned his focus on the ski slopes, right, Coop? You were in the Coast Guard. Can you break down how long you were in the Coast Guard, brother?
Yeah, just about 10 years. I ran 82 to 92 as a rescue swimmer in the Coast Guard. Super fun adventure. And yeah, it's such a great day. George Washington founded us as the Revenue Cutter Service. That's a pretty cool thing to be 200 plus years old.
Dude,
Sheesh.
so cool.
What was your job, Coop, when you were in the Coast Guard exactly?
Yeah, and where?
So I'm in. If you go back to that movie, The Guardian, with Kevin Costner, I was one of the first rescue swimmers. I'm number 69 in the program.
Wow.
So over the years, rescue swimmers. Right now, there's about an active 300, but there are only literally 1,019 swimmers in the program since its inception back in the early 80s. So it's a very tight knit community. And I got to tell you, what a fun job to be able to launch out of H-3 helicopters in the middle of the ocean. That was pretty cool.
Did you see it by chance, Ashton Kutcher? It's a good movie.
Oh, The Guardian?
Yes.
I mean, it's been years. I don't really
good.
remember all the details.
All right, so Coop, can you break down, I mean, obviously you have experienced so many different weather scenarios being a rescue swimmer. You got to go out in some of the most dangerous situations. And now you're on the mountains, right, in Sierra Nevada. So kind of, since this is a climate show, break down what you've seen since you were in your youth, out in the ocean, some of those big storms, and now what you're kind of seeing with trends up in the mountains, storm-wise.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jordan. This year was one of the most interesting winters I've seen. One of the worst in 200 years here in Lake Tahoe. We saw kind of a nice roll into the winter with October and November rains, a little bit of rain at the beginning of December, then slowly transitioning to snow like the second week of December. And then that one large storm came in, 274 inches in less than a 2-week period. We were seeing anywhere between 6 and 8 inches an hour for about 4 days straight, piling up, shutting the Sierra down. All the major highways in and out the Sierra, Highway 50, I-80, State Route 88. I mean, we were literally hunkered in, power loss, high winds, 100, 125, 145 mile an hour winds across the ridge tops. And then right after, literally like at the very end of December, it stopped. Mother Nature turned off the pipe for the entire winter. Literally, we didn't see any snow from January to April.
That's rough, Coop. It's really, really rough. So let's talk more about that. And, you have seen anything from the ocean to the mountains here. Talk about some of the changes specifically, though, in the mountains and the time that you lived there that you might attribute to the changing climate.
That's a great question, Stephanie. And, I kind of frame it for a lot of people. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. It is happening. And we're seeing it just in the snowpack in and around the Sierra. So since I've been in Tahoe for about the last 30 years, our average was 600 to 596 inches per year. That was really good as we came in through the 90s, moving into the millennial 2000s. But then right now, if you take a look at the snowpack average, it's anywhere from 296 to 350 right now. That's a big drop in snowpack. We're not seeing the consistency in the snow. We're seeing these wild events. Either it's everything, all or nothing, or it's cold or it's rain. It's just not consistent. It used to be October you would get rains. November you'd start to see the snowfall. By Christmas the resorts were opened up, and then January a little bit of a break. February and March you saw very large systems. We'd see 24, 36 inches, 60-inch storms. Now it's kind of like it comes in a massive wave and then it just stops. So it's really hard as a snow farmer at the resorts out here and even a backcountry enthusiast to really get a groove at or what's going on during the winter. Now, we're looking at South America right now. We're kind of watching it. We've seen 65 centimeters at Portillo and Bariloche in the last 7 days. Is there a correlation between the northern hemi and southern hemi? I don't really know, but I'm hoping there is, because they've actually had a normal winter in the southern hemisphere this year.
Oh, that's good. Going back to the Coast Guard conversation for a second, I know you are a rescue swimmer, but I'm just thinking of, some of the cool things the Coast Guard gets to do, and they've got those big ice cutters that go all the way up through Alaska and up on the northern tier. And I don't know if you're still in the conversations with folks that are in the Coast Guard, but are you seeing them kind of doing things any differently than they did when you were training back in the day?
Oh, absolutely. It's under the Department of Homeland Defense right now. And one of the cool things about the U.S. Coast Guard is my first Polar, I was on the Polar Star, deep freeze 85, 86. And I got to serve with Ensign. Back then, her name was King. She's now the Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard. 4-star, sits on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we served together down in Antarctica. So the Polar Fleet, which was the Star, the Sea, and then we had the Wind class, is starting to be rolled out. And there are some new cutters, breakers, Polar class breakers being built right now so they can keep servicing. Either you're going to go up to the north, up to the Arctic and be a blue nose, or you're going to go down south to Antarctica to McMurdo Sound and you're going to get yourself the Golden Dragon. It was super fun to serve on those breakers. But there's so much going on with the Coast Guard right now with all the new ships coming out. They actually have a new cutter fleet called the Legend class coming out. They do multiple different things out there, from law enforcement to maritime response to transit systems, which is basically aids the navigation out on the water. So the Coast Guard is a great organization to get involved in. And I still do keep in touch with a lot of the old Polar class guys and with my brotherhoods of the Fin out there, the rescue swimmers.
So cool, man.
Coop, I'm telling you, Coop, love seeing you. Miss you.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll see you in person sooner than later.
Hey, and thank you for your service, man. That is so cool.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a wonderful day.
Wait, we gotta ask you your stoke level before we leave. We gotta know your stoke level for the day.
Stoke level for the day is about 9.5. We just went to the Shakespeare Festival last night, so we're just having breakfast and talking about it. So it's literally up there right now. And then we'll get a good walk with the dogs.
Oh, the stories that Coop has. Coop, good to see you as always. I'm telling you, I don't even like beer, but Coop is a guy that I would sit down and I mean, the stories he tells.
I know.
I had one lunch with him once, and I sat there like this the entire time. What? Oh
well, his energy and excitement level on any topic just draws you in.
I'm telling you, the stuff he's done.
Some stories.
Oh,
he got some
I have the stories, yes.